The biggest battle we will ever have to face is the battle between you and you. It's the battle of taking your mind to that limit and then breaking through. On the Mindful Experiment podcast, we will share concepts, universal laws, and interviewing individuals who have done just that, who have gone through the dark times and through those moments allowed their light to shine bright. I'm your host, Dr. Vic Manzo, and I want to thank you for listening to the podcast and taking this journey with me as we discover different avenues to break through those limits, expand your reality, and evolve into the person you desire to be. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. This podcast is sponsored by Empower Your Reality. It's an online university and also a one-on-one and group coaching business that's there to help enlighten, to raise the consciousness, and help the individual truly thrive in every area of their life. We have a new online class that is now available called Life Mastery. And what this 5-week course is all about is teaching you the rules of life, how to create life mastery in your life, how to become the master of your life to thrive and create all that you desire. In this 5-week course, we dive deep into spiritual laws, universal laws, quantum physics, neurology, functional neurology, to back up all the concepts that we bring to the table to give you a platform to utilize and to really help grow and expand. Right now, we have a ton of amazing bonuses that are going on while you sign up for the class, and we even offer a 2-week money-back guarantee if you don't like the program. To check out more about it, go to www.empoweryourreality.com. Now, back to the show.
What up, guys? This is Dr. Vic, and you're listening to another episode here on the Mindful Experiment. Excited to have you here and on as I'm going to be sharing some great things. We are launching 2 podcasts this week, so this is my first. The day after Thanksgiving, you're going to get my second. It's a little special that I'll be doing. I usually do this during the holidays, so there's no interviews going to be done this week as I'm just sharing some great content to reset, take in the moment, really soak things up, and really just kind of help all in the mind, right? Because everything starts and ends with that, and it's all about the mind in the beginning. If you don't go there and if you don't master that, you can't master the body and you can't master life. So in this episode, what I really have been pulled to feel a calling, and it's a little bit of a cliche, because here in America, we're getting ready to celebrate Thanksgiving tomorrow, and it's one of the things where we're getting ready to, like I said, celebrate, and it's a moment of, it's a little different this year, right? Depending where you live in the States, the government has really tried to limit you from enjoying your time with your family, enjoying time with friends, and taking moments just to take a moment to give thanks and really celebrate with one another. Now, as I get, my patients will ask me sometimes, like, Doc, well, what's your opinion on this? What would you do? Well, I always tell them I can't really share that per se because I have to stay from a clinical standpoint or a professional standpoint. But one of the things I will share with them is that one of the most powerful things, and I'm a chiropractor, so you have to understand, chiropractors, if you don't know, we're nervous system docs. We're brain docs. That's what we do. We look at function, and we see how can we enhance the function and communication of the brain and the nervous system with the body. And when you can do that, optimal health is achieved. Optimization, being the best, maximize performance. There's so many terms we can use. But the key point is what I'm trying to get at is that as much as I know that, community and being with others in a physical realm is actually more powerful for your nervous system than anything else. It's crazy. It really helps. It really transforms. And unfortunately, the government's trying to limit that, at least in the States. I know some other countries too. And my thing is, and I've told everybody, is that you got to do what you're comfortable with. You got to do what you can. Because here's the thing. What if this is your last Thanksgiving? What if it's someone else's last Thanksgiving? You have to look at that, but you have to do what you're comfortable with too. And the reason why I share that is because the power of unity, the power of tribe, the power of community is monumental, okay? Now you have to get creative this year. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Maybe you're in the country, you're not in the States, and you're in other parts of the world, and they're like, we're not affected by that. Great. This podcast is for you. Because what I wanted to get to on this podcast is the power of giving thanks, the power of appreciation, the power of gratitude. Okay. I've talked about this a lot. I've talked a lot about gratitude on my podcast. I've had interviewed people who've talked about the power of gratitude. We got some new podcasts coming out that they've talked about the power of gratitude. So it's there. It's a reason. And when you're hearing it a lot, sometimes, I mean, I'd be very careful how I say that. Sometimes there's a truth behind it, or some sort of form of a truth. And gratitude is something that, we don't do enough of. I don't do enough of it. I know that. I should be more appreciative of everything I have. I should be more grateful and thankful. And it's a practice I do daily, but even then I could always be better with it. And so the key factor is one of the things is really take a moment today, this week. Take a moment. If you have kids, ask your spouse to, hey, I need you to watch the kids for an hour or 2 hours. If you're a single mom, single dad, and you got kids, hire a babysitter for a couple hours. You need to do this, okay? And what I'm recommending, if you don't have any of that, then you just go ahead and do this. Give thanks. And what I want you to give thanks to is I want you to think of the most smallest blessings in life that you have every single day that you don't pay attention to. I want you to look at the smallest little details, right? It's not the big stuff. We always think like, I'm grateful for my house. I'm grateful for the money that I have. I'm grateful I have a job. Those are important. I'm grateful I have an opportunity to create a podcast like this. I'm grateful I have the platform. I'm grateful for the person who created the platform for allowing me to share my message through the world. I'm grateful for, on and on and on. You can see I can just go down a rabbit hole with this. And I want you to really be grateful for the people you have in your life. Every situation that has showed up in your life, I want you to be grateful for. The good, but more importantly, the bad. Why? Why the bad? Why would I say, hey, focus on the bad? Appreciate the goldens. No, because the bad is what got you to the good. The bad taught you something. It gave you something that you can't get out of a book. You can't go and learn on YouTube or read on Google. You got to experience that. I always say experiential growth is the biggest wisdom factor, the best way to learn, or it's the best path to wisdom. You do have to mix knowledge with that, because with knowledge and experience becomes wisdom. And so you got to utilize these things, but it's appreciating those moments. To share something personal, lately in the last week and a half to 2 weeks, I've been doing a lot of deep inner work. I'm always doing inner work, so that doesn't really answer that question. But I'm doing a lot of inner child work. I'm going back into my history. I've noticed that I've blocked things out in my life that happened, and I'm going back and trying to refire up these memory pathways and tap into these memories, and wondering why they were put away in a box. And I was looking to see, okay, what is something why do I block that? And what was the reason behind it? And then I look at the situation and I give thanks to it, because I take what happened there and I move it forward in my life. And then I say, okay, how is this serving me? How is this benefiting me? How is this helping me be the better version of me? How did it prepare me for where I'm at today? And what I'm finding out is that there's nothing that I've ever experienced that is a negative. There's nothing in my life that I've experienced that is something harmful or bad. It's all good, because there's things I can extrapolate from that, learn from, and I wrote this all in my book called The Walk in the Dark, but things I can grow and what kind of prepared me that I didn't even know about. Right? Like where I'm at in my life right now and all the things that have happened, I'm fascinated because I look back and I'm like, holy shit, excuse my French, but man, the hardships that I went through, the emotional ups and downs that I went through, the struggles, people not hearing me, not understanding who I am or understanding what I felt, why I was always taken most of the time in the wrong way when I was not trying to be doing something the wrong way. I was just trying to share me and let me be heard, right? And there's a lot of stuff behind that. And I've been going through this path, and it's been absolutely amazing, because it gets me teary-eyed, because it's one of the things where I really have thanks for everything I went through. Like when I look at it as a child, it's like, well, I had a hard time in life, right? I had a struggle in life. I had X, Y, Z. And I remember a couple of years ago, I was seeing a spiritual therapist. She was just more working on my energy and what I can work on with hypnosis, with meditations and crystal healing and all this stuff. And I'll never forget, because she asked us a very lengthy process about your past of your life. And as she read through everything, she looked back and she goes, "You had a traumatic childhood." And I'm like, "No, I didn't have a traumatic childhood." I go, "I had a great childhood." I go, "Yeah, I got my butt whooped all the time, but I deserved it. I was a wild child. I challenged things. I used to aggravate." I go, I get it from my father. So I was like, I know I deserved that stuff. But I never had someone tell me that ever in my life. And so it was kind of interesting to go through that process. But then you learn, this is why I couldn't understand why I had blockages. And now I'm going back and tapping in, but I'm giving thanks because those things prepared me for where I'm at today. What I mean by that, let me give you an example. I grew up in a very high stressful environment. Stress environment. I mean, it was just very stressful. My parents, they busted their behinds to just provide food on the table. I love them because they taught me so much and they taught me so many great things to prepare me for my life. I may have not liked it back then, but I love it now. And I have so much gratitude for appreciation for them. But it's one of the things where when I look at my life, and I've been looking over 2020, I look and I go, if I didn't have those experiences and those stressful situations and things not going my way and all this other stuff, I couldn't adapt as well as I've done this year. I couldn't be in a calm state for the most of this year and do what I have done. And so it's the beauty of looking back at your life and saying, well, you know what? What if everything happened? Because I can back this up with a lot of truths, but what if everything in my life was there to prepare me, okay, to prepare me for my future? It was all planned. When you can tap into that and really get into that moment of gratitude and thanks and really see it in that mind's eye and that perspective, life is transformed. You can all of a sudden, everything will transform in that moment. So it's one of those things that when you look at your life, you want to take a moment and give thanks for the good and the bad, from the past to now, all that has gone on. Look at 2020. Look at what it has done for you. Look at how you've grown. Look at what you've been challenged. Look at what it has brought up to you that you have to work on. Right? What are the things that you have to face in your life? What are the challenges that you have to deal with? These are things that are here for reasons. It's here for a massive awakening. It's here for a huge spiritual shift. There's a lot happening. It's been going on since 2012, 10, 12. 12 was when it shifted over, and the powers of the spiritual realms have shifted. I know it sounds a little crazy, but what happened is now we're seeing it in the physical. And it's starting to transcend down into the physical realm. That's why we see so much chaos happening in the world. This is where COVID comes in. This is where global unrest comes in. This is where we have, like in the United States, this whole presidential polarized election we have, where we still don't have a president, even though the media will tell us we do. And then we have, you look at other countries, what's going on there. Look at what's shifting in the Middle East. All these things, there's so much going on. And when you take a step back and don't get in it, but get out of the cloud and look around and see how everything's going, it really gives you a mind eye opening of looking at things going, wow, look at all the moving parts. Too many times we get so stuck in our world that we can't see outside. We can't take a moment to look back and look at the bigger picture. And so that's the perspective when we look at, give thanks. Look at your life and know that everything that has happened for you happened in your life. All your experiences, what you went through as a child, all those things, no matter how dim and green and dark they are, they were here to serve you. They were here to help you. And I've interviewed people that had very dark pasts, very dark childhoods. And you know what? When I get down, I ask them this question, and it's a question that I've asked many times in my life to people who've gone through this is, was what you went through a blessing? Was what you went through something that you're appreciative of now? And I never got a no. I never have. I mean that with all my heart. I've never seen a no, because what they'll tell me is how it helped them to understand them, how it got them on a path to go this way, how it started their healing journey, how it set the stage for them to really create massive change. And then what's always amazing is they say, and now I can teach it to others. Now I can help others, and we can raise the vibration and consciousness of humanity. Now I can take it to the next level. And that's why I do what I do. It's not for fame. It's not for glory. I can care less about that stuff. And I'm very straightforward on that. I learned this very early on. It was actually a year and a half ago where it really honed in. early in my career, no, I wanted the awards, I wanted the accolades, I wanted the credentials, I wanted to show everybody, look who I am. Look at it. Made my podcast. We hit such high ranks. Number one in UK, we were for a short, or top 5 in UK, Canada, and Australia in self-help in 2019. Top 15 in United States in 2019, 2019 for those. And and I got to a point where I heard Jerry Seinfeld. And he's on his Comedians in Cars Having Coffee. And I'm watching the show, and someone asked him, a comedian goes, I don't get it. He goes, you are the most financially successful comedian in the world. There is nobody who makes more money than you. Why have you never accepted an award? You have more success in everything you do, but yet you never accepted an award. And what he said after that transformed my whole perspective. And what he said is the award is getting to do this every single day. The reward is waking up and writing my jokes every single day. I do it every day, no matter what. He goes, that's the award. The rest of this, it doesn't mean nothing to me. And I started to look at my life and said, dang, I was already in that kind of mindset where I was like, I'm not going to accept much awards anymore and all this stuff. But it was fascinating to go along that journey and really look at my life and be like, I don't care about awards anymore. And I have a lot of awards as a chiropractor. And now I'm like, I care about getting any mindset ones? No, because at the end of the day, what I care about is serving and helping others. What I really care about, everything I do, this podcast, why I do it. I have not made any money on my podcast. As successful as it is, I've never taken in ads, to where I had a couple ads, I'll be honest with you, but most of the time I don't take ads. It's just me. I'll share ads of stuff I'm doing. But it's one of the things where the information I share, I wish I had someone teaching me when I was a kid, as a high schooler. I wish someone taught me. And so every time I do something, I'm always thinking of myself as a teenager. I'm always thinking of myself as that 12-year-old, that 10-year-old, and wishing I had that guidance, right? That mental guidance that I seeked. So that's why I created my Life Mastery course. That's why I'm coming out with a mindfulness membership website that's coming out next month. This is why I have other online classes that I'm launching, because I wish I had these tools and tips and tricks from somebody who I can trust, who I know does the diligent work, who looks at the research, knows the science, and really backs everything he or she says. And it's one of those things where that's why I do what I do. And it's when you look at your life and what you want to create, how you want to do things, it's the same concept. You have to really look at the perspective and say, okay, well, here's where I'm at. Here's how I am with things. And what is it I wanted to create? What is it that I really want to do in my past? And give thanks, because look at what you didn't get and be appreciative of it, because you can learn to grow from that. And then you can create something like that in your life. So for those who celebrate Thanksgiving, I want to give thank you to you for listening to the podcast. For those who don't celebrate Thanksgiving, I want to give thanks to you for listening to the podcast. If you watch this on YouTube, my channel is Dr. Vic Manzo on YouTube. You can go find me. I do my podcast also on video, so you get to see me video live there. You can also go to the website, empoweryourreality.com/blog, and you can see the video on the podcast there. So anytime I do a video podcast, especially the interview ones like this single, I always put this on YouTube. So you can check it out there. Also, Life Mastery course is up and running, and it is running hot. We are going to be doing a special coming up very soon here on the course. So keep tuned in that. But you can check it out. You can go to empoweryourreality.com. You can check it out there. And we have the courses up there linked on and everything. So you can click Life Mastery course. And it's really a 5-week course that really helps you transform your life. It gives you all the tools that I wish I had as a kid to really help me thrive and understand how life works, the interconnectedness of life, how the universe works, the laws, spirituality, how does the mind work, how does neuroscience, quantum physics, how does it all play together, and how you can understand the rules a little bit so you can be a better master life in the way that you were designed to be, and share your creativity and what you want to do for the world and dictate your life on your terms, and using the universe to help you in that process. So check it out. Right now we have, like I said, we're going to be doing a special coming up very soon. Next week we'll be launching our next podcast. I'll be sharing about those specials. We're going to do a post Black Friday, Cyber Monday special. There is so many going on. I was like, I'm not getting involved with that. I'll wait till afterwards and I'll share something. So check that out. If this is your first time listening, please subscribe. Please share what you like about it. Just give us some stars on iTunes if you're listening there, on Amazon or on Google Podcasts or wherever you listen. Please share a review. It really helps get the podcast out there. And if you really found this to be insightful and inspiring, or you really enjoyed the episode, please pay it forward by sharing with someone that you know or who you may know that could benefit from this, or even better, share it on your social media. I want to thank you guys as always, and thank you for the subscribers for listening and being listening to the podcast and giving me the love and support. It inspires me to continue doing what I'm doing here. So as always, I want to give thanks. Thank you. I appreciate you. Until next time, I'll be talking with you guys in a couple days. So I'll see you then.
Thank you for listening to the podcast. For past shows, please visit www.empoweryourreality.com. I hope this show inspired you and added to your life to help you on the journey to rediscover who you really are. To connect with us on Facebook, please visit www.facebook.com/Dr. Vic Manzo. Check us out on Twitter. The handle is Dr. Vic21. Follow us on Instagram, www.instagram.com/Dr. Vic Manzo. If you were inspired by the podcast, pay it forward by sharing it with someone who you know can benefit from it. Thank you again for listening to the Mindful Experiment podcast, sharing paths to help you rediscover your infinite potential.